Welcome back to a new episode of TnL.travels. In the previous episode we reached this moment, the point where our journey towards South Africa finally begins. Right now we're driving away from my parents' house where we spent the last month working hard on our car Elsie. We've adjusted and upgraded as much as possible to prepare her for departure. From the Netherlands we drove to Switzerland to pick up our spare tires and some other gear we hadn't brought with us. We stayed there for a few days to say goodbye to Lisa's family. After that, we continued towards Geneva and crossed the border into France. In France, we took our time to enjoy a nice lunch, surrounded by rolling hills and beautiful scenery. We planned to drive from Geneva towards Montpellier, but there were diesel restrictions in that area, so we decided to take a different route. In the end, we spent our first night in a small harbor called Port de Chicolet, west of Montpellier. After arriving, we prepared the car for our first night on the road. Then we went for a short walk to explore the surroundings and the beach. The next day, we put on our hiking shoes and went for a long walk along the beaches and dunes towards Valras Plage. The area was almost deserted. High season was over. Most campsites and holiday parks were closed. Valras Plage was very quiet as well. We dropped off a package at the post office and walked back to the harbor along the main road. Along the way, we even saw a horse with a bird on its back. At the end of the day, we returned to Port de Chicolet. It was a long and slightly boring walk, but at least we got some exercise. We also had to remove the water pump because air had entered the system, preventing the engine from pumping water. The next day it was time to leave France and enter Spain, the land of sun, tapas and passion. So we continued to a place called Salou.
We have some tea, some chairs.
Some Tommy.
And Salou is there. Maar het is na het hoogseizoen, so it's after the high season. This is na het hoogseizoen.
During my youth, I heard many stories about Salou, a place where young people went to party, drink and meet other young people. It was once considered an ultimate holiday destination. But when we were there were hardly any young people. Only empty streets, older residents and a few sporty expats. We came here because of a nice beach spot we found on Park 49, but it was time to move on. We drove inland towards Madrid. Before reaching the city, it got late, so we parked near an abandoned farmhouse on a hill. Lisa cooked a delicious dinner using our outdoor kitchen in the back door of the Toyota. After dinner, we explored the farmhouse a bit. We weren't sure if it was truly abandoned, but we decided to take the risk. Eventually, the sun set and we went to sleep. The next day, we continued towards two good friends who had recently moved from the Netherlands to Spain. We arrived at Arne and Femme's place. After a warm welcome, tapas and a short siesta, they took us to one of their favorite towns, Alcalá de Henares. The city lies about 30 kilometers east of Madrid and is known for its university, one of the first planned university cities in the world. It is also the birthplace of the author of Don Quixote. The city features beautiful Gothic churches, a rich history, and during our visit, the Semana Cervantina Theatre Festival was taking. The next day, Arno drove our car for a while. Later, we went for a short walk in the nearby nature reserve.
On our last day, we visited a shopping mall with an arcade hall. Since I love games, this was a perfect activity for me. After exchanging our tickets, we continued to Madrid. We got a brief impression of the city, where a concert was taking place for Dia de la Hispanidad.
They have a lot of wine. A lot of wine.
Afterwards, we went out for dinner together. It was a beautiful ending to a few wonderful days, and we truly enjoyed their hospitality and friendship.
We drove north to the village of Somo in Cantabria, located by the Bay of Santander. It's known for its beaches and surf spots. We stayed here for a few days to surf and to relax.
With feathers in my hair and braids around my waist, I'm almost a bird. These mountain views and pink sunsets got me shedding skin. Ooh, we all strive to be more. We all long for viva la vida. Around the corner I'll meet you, a bit light and free.
Traveling after high season means you can park close to the beach for free. It was lively but not crowded or too hot. Definitely recommended for overlanders and surfers.
And the air fills up my lungs and it tickles. Oh, what a joyful feeling. I think I'm gonna stay here under all these rays and soak up the sun.
After Somo, we drove to a quiet spot near the town of Ordes. And here, Lisa tried the outdoor shower in the back of the Land Cruiser for the first time. After a good shower, we prepared our dinner for that evening.
How long does the pommes take?
50 minutes!
50 Minuten.
50 Minuten.
50 Minuten. 50 minutes for the pommes, for the patat, for the fries.
Pommes frites. Für Pommes frites geht 50 Minuten.
The next day, we headed towards the city of Santiago de Compostela, famous for the Camino de Santiago. After a coffee break in a very nice Japanese-styled Mori Cafe coffee shop, we walked to the famous cathedral, where the tomb of Saint James is believed to be located. And after a long day of walking in the city of Santiago de Compostela, we relaxed in one of the parks before continuing our journey.
I found a natural hot spring near Lobios. Since Tommy loved thermal baths in Switzerland, I thought he would enjoy this. The water was very hot, especially at the surface. Once you got used to it, it was incredibly relaxing.
From the hot springs, we drove towards a well-known Portuguese town called Nazaré, famous for its gigantic waves and brave surfers. Unfortunately, the ocean was calm that day. We still saw big waves, but not the monster waves Nazaré is known for. We also briefly visited the Catholic church called Santuário de Nossa Senhora da Nazaré, oftewel the Sanctuary of the Lady of Nazaré. A local resident told us that the ornaments in the center of the church are largely made of gold. Regardless, it was simply beautiful to see. After that, we went down to explore the town at the beach of Nazaré. Again, few people after the high season, but certainly a charming place to be. We drove to Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, and we parked near a shopping center called Colombo. Because it was a paid parking, there was surveillance and it wasn't in the middle of the center of the city. From there, we took the tram to the city center to explore the beautiful city that is called Lisbon.
The streets of Lisbon were impressive. Historic buildings, mosaic sidewalks, and vibrant life. After coffee and almost getting hit in my face with the Insta360, we even spotted a small diamond on our table.
Eventually, we arrived at Pink Street, officially called Rio Nova do Carvalho, famous for Lisbon's nightlife. Unfortunately, we were there during the day, but it still had a pleasant atmosphere. After that, we went to the Time Out Food Market, a famous place with countless restaurants and delicacies. We both chose two different restaurants because we wanted some different food. But then we came back together in the middle of the Great Hall and had some nice dinner together with hundreds of other people. And after dinner, we treated ourselves to two amazing donuts before heading back to Elsie. The next day, Lisa took me to a very special place. When we came there, we found out an outdoor gym. So Lisa decided to do some sport outdoors. After Lisa's short training session outdoors, it was time for her to surprise me with my own new surfboard for my birthday. After Lisa's beautiful gift, it was time to leave Lisbon. We drove south again, and after a long ride with straight and winding roads, we arrived at a beautiful place called Herdade do Cabeço da Volta, a unique place with many special trees surrounded by open landscapes.
While Tommy was preparing everything outside for the evening, I was busy making a smoothie in my new wireless blender.
When the sun had set, heavenly colors appeared. The rooftop tent light turned on and we were ready to sleep. Around midnight, lights appeared around us and we heard engines and people talking. It turned out to be a night expedition of off-road vehicles driving through the valley. The next day, we decided to go back up the hill to the open plateau where there was more sunlight. We set up Elsie with her awning and hammock on both sides and stayed for another full day to enjoy the surroundings, the sun, and to get some work done. Besides off-road vehicles, many people also came on Sunday with their dirt bikes to play with their machines in the open fields around us. On the day of our departure, I also tried some light off-roading with Elsie to see what she was capable of. After that, it was time to leave this beautiful nature area. After a very long drive, we arrived at a coastal town called Sines. We parked behind the industrial area and stayed near the coast for a few days. We did this because we ordered a package from Amazon, which would be delivered inside of the town. The next day, we tried the cold waters of the North Atlantic Ocean as a morning bath. After that, Lisa cleaned Elsie's windows with a product that helps rainwater flow off more easily while driving. After a few days at the coastal camper spot, it was time to explore the old town of Sines. This city turned out to be the hometown of Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer who, in the 15th century, was the first to find a direct sea route from Europe to India by sailing around the Cape of Good Hope. Then it was time to drive again, passing the well-known towns of Lagos and Albufeira, where people of all ages go to enjoy the sun and party on the beaches. We didn't party because our destination was Punta Umbria in the southern Spain. We stayed here for 2 days because Spain is more tolerant about parking by the sea with a camper. We enjoyed the beaches, the sun and the sea before driving on to one of Spain's most beautiful cities, Sevilla. We parked outside the city due to restrictions on old diesel engines and took the metro to the center to spend 1 day exploring Sevilla. After 1 day in Sevilla, we had only scratched the surface of this town. But the atmosphere of the beautiful city with its old buildings was wonderful. Unfortunately, it was time to move on. We chose to stay at a campsite for a few days to slow down and to do some surfing. This brought us to a simple but nice campsite called El Palmar Beach, a basic but efficient campsite for mobile travelers. The beach was great for surfing, and there was a nice beach bar called Zoco with a restaurant, bar and small independent shops. After the campsite, we had to visit Gibraltar, an interesting piece of land that is still part of the United Kingdom.
So we are going to cross the border from Spain to Gibraltar. We are going from Spain to England. How exciting! Come with us, come. The Spanish flag. The English one, where? Oh my love, that is the Union Jack. That is not the English flag. That's the flag of Great Britain. Oh, passportes. We have to go to passport check, eh? Alright, passport check. Now we cross into Britain. Exciting. Now we are in Britain.
After a short walk through the city of Gibraltar and a coffee, we decided to leave and look for a place for our last night in Europe. We found a beautiful recreational area called El Buteo, located further from Algeciras and higher in the mountains. It is a quiet place to spend the night, and it is still close enough to Algeciras so that we can be on time in the early morning for the ferry that will take us to Morocco. The next day it was finally time. We prepared for the crossing from Algeciras in Europe to Tangier in Morocco, Africa. Early in the morning, many other overlanders with their beautiful vehicles were already present at the harbor.
Lisa is searching for her papers, and we are in the harbor. Algeciras. And we are about to ship on the ferry
In an hour.
We still have to wait an hour, but we made coffee and we made all preparations, so we are ready to go across the channel, Strait of Gibraltar.
And then, after traveling for a little bit more than 1 month from the Netherlands, through Germany, Switzerland, France, Spain, Portugal, Great Britain and Spain again, it was finally time to go to the great continent that is Africa. Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell icon, and see you in the next episode of TnL Travels.